Okay, so we've just finished another improv session and you've had a go at park bench as a warm-up, and then you've been given a basic stimulus of the words go ahead, and in your groups have done a short piece that lasted about 8 minutes each. So just throwing it out as a group, can somebody say what was a positive for today? Anyone and anything?
I think positive today was that when we got into our groups, we quickly started making something up and we started to push the idea, so we had more time to work on it in general.
Right, brilliant. So from having done it in the past, you've learned that you spend too much time discussing, not enough time doing. So it's a bit like devising, but with improvisation, you can't have any discussion. You've just got to go, right, let's start with this as an idea, and then you just work from it and see.
I think we know each other's own personalities and ideas a bit more, so that leaves a lot more room for collaboration. We sort of have an instinct of where to go and what doors to go through and how to get the best reaction out of people.
Okay, very good. Anything that's cropped up as being problematic today?
Not really.
I don't think our group even managed to stick to the stimulus.
In what way?
Because we were given the stimulus of go ahead, but I don't think it was mentioned once.
Okay. But what was your initial ideas when you started?
The first initial idea was actually to have a dance battle in what's known as the urban streets, but that quickly evolved into something very, very different. It quickly evolved into a drama.
But you could still see how that stemmed from go ahead, couldn't you? I
Indeed,
think you
yeah.
can see where that's come from. So I'm just going to ask everybody a question on the spot now, and there's no I don't know. Okay? Got to say something. Okay? So Kirsty, let's start with you.
What a surprise!
Okay. So Kirsty, if you'd like to make eye contact either with the camera or with me, that's fine, rather than looking at the floor. Can you tell me something that you have enjoyed about today's lesson?
The stimulus I got for the park bench thingy,
And why was that better than other ones you've had? Why was that easier?
because I actually managed to do something for it that was loosely related to improv.
So do you feel like you're progressing a bit now with drama improv? Do you feel it's getting easier?
Yeah,
I'd certainly, I
definitely.
think would everybody agree, seeing it, you are getting much better because you're not blocking now when you get something, you're kind of open to just going, right, we'll see what happens. And I think, yeah, you can see definite progression, so well done you. Lewis, what was your favourite part of the lesson? Was it doing park bench or was it doing group work?
I think it was probably group work because I thought it'd be a lot harder than what it was, so it's good to know where it's easy.
Do you think it was easier because of who you were with or because of your stimulus?
I'll probably go with stimulus.
Okay. Was it because it left more to interpret? Like before I've been quite prescriptive about styles and genres and all that. Was it because I just gave you 2 words that you could do anything? Did that make it easier?
Yeah.
I'm guiding you a bit too much with questioning now. Logan, something you've enjoyed today?
Well, like personally, I enjoyed everything, but like mostly, I think it was just like working in a group. Because for improv, it's easier to work in a group, I'd say, because more ideas are like blasted around. It's just easier to bounce off each other. While like the bench one, it was just like a bit more difficult because it was just you two. So.
Okay, good. Carl, same question. Something you've
Probably
enjoyed?
group work, because it allows you to build up more communication skills as well as how to work easier in groups in these sort of situations.
Good. Alex, something you've disliked or found difficult today?
I think, well, not disliked or anything, but it's difficult at first trying like, say with the park bench one, I find it difficult how to start it off. Once it gets going, it's fine. It's just starting off an improv. I don't know where to start.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. And very often I think when you start something, it becomes something completely different than what you've started off with, and then you kind of halfway through, that's when people start laughing because you just think, how have we got to this point? How has it escalated to this? Okay, Brad, same thing. Anything you've struggled with today?
I think for me it would be not the fact that we need to work in groups, but maybe the initial, like the starting point of working in groups where, you know, everyone's just sort of thinking about, you know, what ideas to.
So is it hard because everybody's got different ideas, or is it hard because it's a clash of personalities, or what?
I think a bit both, to be honest. I think more the first one, because everyone everyone's got an idea, which can be useful, but I think sometimes to create just one piece.
So how did you get past that in your group? How did you move forward?
Well, we just try out different ideas around each other's ideas.
Okay, good. Connor, anything you would have done differently today with your group piece if you had more time?
Group piece?
Mhm.
No, actually. I actually thought the group piece was, it went really well, all things considering. Like, at first, I thought it'd be quite difficult to get it on its feet, but actually we got it on its feet extremely quick. It just naturally flowed so well and just built up and up. Even with Dan monitor on, it just all fit together, it just worked. It just flowed really well.
Good. Clint, do you think everybody in your group has contributed equally and had equal stage time?
I won't say equally, because that's what a problem with working with groups. So when people are trying to come up with ideas, sometimes somebody will shout louder, and that's what I mean. It's hard to distribute when some people put in these ideas. You can come up with stuff on the spot improvising, and it might interfere with somebody else's. It's really hard to collaborate.
Yeah, especially when you've got your focus at the stuff you've done today in your groups. There hasn't been sort of just one focus and then move to other areas, just stuff going on simultaneously all over the place. So the audience are really engaged, but they're having to move about. And like you say, if there's something that looks more engaging or they're being louder, they're naturally drawn. So it's kind of finding that balance, isn't it? Dan, how are you finding improv as a unit?
I'm enjoying it quite well.
Do you think you've made progress since the start of the unit?
I would say yes.
In what way? Can you expand a bit?
When working with Lewis earlier, I found it was a lot easier just to think of ideas than when we did like duet tasks before. And when working in a group, I found it a lot easier just to have one idea and just move on with that idea to make something bigger and bigger.
Good. Good. I think that's half the battle as well, is sometimes you'll understand with devising, you start off with something and then after a bit you go, it's a rubbish idea and you scrap it, but you're far better just committing to whatever you've chosen and making it work, I think. And that applies to devising as well. Thomas Grace.
Oh.
And do you think you have progressed with this unit?
In this session, not really. I feel like I've been quite reluctant to join in with some of the group things, and that I could definitely have been a lot more active within the scene.
So do you think, can you identify what it is that's stopping you, or what's a problem?
It's just basically me being like reluctant, well, not reluctant to do it, but sort of overthinking it in my head. So it's like, rather than just jumping in and trying to improv, I'm just like thinking, oh, will this work? And that sort of deters me and puts me off a bit. Yeah. So I think that's what's happened mainly this session.
So it's just like what we'd said with Kirsty before about being open to it and not blocking and not overthinking. Because you overthink, then it isn't going to work. Kate, Megan, I'm going to ask you the same question then, and hope you don't mind me saying that, because you're another person that hasn't particularly liked this unit or struggles with it. We've said we've got different skills. Some people are naturally really good at improvising, they just are, and others struggle. But that's not to say you can't get better. So do you feel it's getting any easier? You can be brutally honest. No. So what is it that you're struggling with?
When I get given a scenario, I just feel like I don't relate enough to it to be able to do it.
Okay.
Like if you give you something, I don't feel like I can take it anywhere.
So you just think that you've got to think about it first. You can't.
Yeah.
So it's switching off that having to think and plan. Maybe because as a person, what you're good at is the planning and the preparation and organisation of it. So it's having to find a way to switch that off so you can just try. And also I think a large part of it is worrying that you're not going to be funny in front of your group, or worrying that people are judging you. There's all of that, even though you're a lovely group and you like each other, that's always, I think, at the back of people's minds, isn't it? Same with stand-up and other things. You're so vulnerable and so exposed, aren't you, that it is a bit frightening. David, can you tell me one particular area of improvisation that you feel you've improved with so far?
I think I've improved a lot with the whole getting given a scenario and then acting it out yourself, because before I didn't really think about it in the back of my head as fast as I wanted him to do. So once I sat down, I'd need an extra second or two to actually start it, which I think I'm kind of getting rid of now, and it's getting a lot better.
Okay, does it mean you're enjoying it more?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So I think a lot of it is, it's a skill that it's training your brain. So it is a skill that everybody can develop. Some will develop it further than others. You can develop it. It's just being able to train your brain. So that now, like you say, when we gather here and you know you've got improv, you know what's going to happen. So you're already kind of in that frame of mind. So that before I've gone, right, David, you're like, right, get ready, she's going to give me a scenario, and then I've got to, rather than giving you time to think about it, you're training your brain to get ready to get that information and just act on it, aren't you? Tom, do you think it is easier or harder to improvise comedy?
I think the argument can be made for both, because I think sometimes if you're talking about the sort of ridiculous abstract aspect, it's a lot easier to come up with things that are ridiculous and don't really fit into the scenario you're trying to make, if you are indeed trying to go for that. I think sometimes when you're serious, you really need the audience on your side, and that is quite hard. However, having said that, comedy is usually a lot harder than drama, and I definitely find that is the case. So it is very hard for me to come up with something that people end up laughing at. I think we all know there are many things that I find funny that many people don't, and that there are many things that I don't find funny that many people do. And I think it's hard, really, for me personally at least, to balance the two, and for me to really, get the wanted reaction that is required.
So thinking about your audience as well, not just reacting, but having to bear in mind what your audience are going to react like. Okay, well done.